improvement. I thought that football team is a good football team. Coach Ogeron and in that group have done a terrific job assembling a team that knows how to play. And they're a little angry on both sides of the ball when they do a great job in special teams. And there's some things happen today, and for us, just looking at ourselves, we were really playing with house money. That we had a chance to, really take some chances. And try to force some issues, try to make some things happen. And those things didn't necessarily go our way. But what I can tell you is that, the early part of the season, man, has been a difficult stretch, for this football team. What I talked to this football team about is, we were better today in certain situations than we had been. Okay, less penalties, which means that you didn't beat yourself, and now what we got to do is clean up the things that are on tape, like tackling, like an opportunity to get off the field on third down. There's plenty of opportunities out there for us, and we will be better. But as I looked, I thought and Joey Burrow did a good job. Joe is no different than I remember. He's brash. He's gonna talk a little trash, man, but he loves to back it up. And I love the competitive spirit. It was fun to watch him today. Work. Again, he's a competitor. I'm a competitor. We're all competitors, and that's just what I like to see. I thought, looking at our team, and overall, offensively, we had opportunities. We did some things, coming out of the bye that I thought, we gave them some fits on that first drive and allowed us to get into the end zone. Defensively, again, man, we just struggled, at times to tackle. That's point contact, and that really hadn't been something that showed up, and it showed up today. But again, we'll go back. We'll continue to make sure, man, we fix what needs to be fixed. I thought special teams today, hurt us, at times. That we're back up on situation, and we make a call. One of the guys doesn't hear the call. The two guys are on the guard. And we get quick penetration, on the shield, and the ball gets blocked. Great for LSU, poor for us. Communication is free. It's not a one-man job. It's not like guys are paying phone bills out there. No Sprint, no Verizon, no AT&T. Our guys got to communicate, make sure we get it right, and we can clear that up. So communication, again, is on the menu for us, and we just got to do a better job. As I look, I just thought, in this football team, to show some fight. They could have stepped out of this thing, and this group's going to continue to battle. Keyshawn ran hard today. I thought Payne played hard. I thought Kalijah showed some big boy, material out there. In terms of how he plays, those guys are real. Those guys can play. They did it. They've been able to do it against one of the top teams in the country. But now everybody else has got to come along with them. We got a stretch run of football games where I think this team, can really start to get after some things. But we got to tighten it up. Got to tighten it up all the way around. And I look forward to that. But again, hats off to LSU, and let's open up to questions.
This is back-to-back games. Your defense has given up a whole lot of passing yards. What's missing there, and are you convinced that it's that you can fix it?
We've given up yards. A lot of those were, in explosives, in terms of tackling, and again. I don't know what else to do, okay? And it comes back to us. We got to find drills to drill it better. But you put guys in position, guys got to make plays. Football is not about, schematics for coaches. Players make it come alive. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just the way, this game is. That's not even blame on anybody. That's just me. We just got to tackle better. Every one of those, man, you saw a tackle or two or three missed just because of poor angles. That's how you practice. That's how you have to play the game. Okay, we got to clean it up, and when we clean it up, then we'll be better. We'll chase all those explosive plays off the map. When we chase those things off the map, the rest of the numbers sort of fall into play.
It also looked like there was some soft coverage, giving a whole lot of room off the line of scrimmage. Is that intentional? Is that something where guys need to press a little more?
It wasn't soft coverage. It was zero coverage. Okay, so when you're bringing pressure on the quarterback, let's face it, Joey got hit a couple times today. Let's talk about that. We brought some pressure. Guys were playing off because the tighter you are, okay, the tougher it is to be able to play the ball, find the ball. So it wasn't about that. Guys couldn't move their feet. We had to find angles. Okay, we had worked on finding angles. We didn't do it good enough. And now, And it wasn't soft coverage, it was tight coverage, man, with trigger mentality. And we just missed some angles, that's all.
Derek, kind of along those lines, your defense has given up 138 points in the first 3 games. How much of it is that versus the guys that you have played?
It's both. I mean, I think we played some good football teams, man, with good weaponry. That's really what this conference is. But, you know, half of it has been about, you know, what offenses have done, but the other part has been about what we've missed. I mean, how many contested balls, okay, man, have been caught? And then you see Kalijah today. Kalijah breaks a tackle after the catch. It happens. It's just happening more for us because we're not driving too through beyond contact. We're laying on contact. When you lay on contact, guys in this conference run away from you. That's just the bottom line.
You talked about getting pressure. You did that later in the game. In the first part, it didn't happen as much, though. Some of the touchdowns were 4-man rushes. Would you call those differently if you had some of them over in, say, the first quarter in particular?
Our first 3 plays of the game were 0 pressure. Okay, so I'm not going to say, man, that I would, you know, do it any different. Okay, I mean, what happened was, you know, some of the 0 pressures, you know, guys just didn't get there. You know, I mean, part of what you want is the quarterback not to feel like he can step up in the pocket. Joey Burrow stepped up in the pocket, okay, man, on one of those and delivered a strike, man, which turned into a touchdown. The reality is, man, that can't happen. Now, there were a couple of times early that you saw some 8-man drop, you know, like the one where you know, when he looks up and he throws downfield and Dimitri's covering the tight end 45 yards downfield, you know, and you're looking for some pressure. That's when you say to yourself, listen, don't let this guy sit back there and just throw football on there. But Joey Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So you got to give him credit too. He made some good throws, their players made some good plays. We were in position to make some tackles and we did. So I'm not gonna say, man, that I should have called, you know, man, more pressure, because if I look in that ball game, I probably called 20 to 25 0 pressures. That's a lot of pressure.
Derek, with turnout for Georgia fans last game and LSU fans this game, do you worry about that affecting your guys at some point?
Our guys block that out. Our guys don't worry about that. Listen, I mean, our guys, once our guys are in the game, and they got to focus on, you know, playing the game. I don't think our guys are really looking at that. You know, you may see it in pregame and you may see it post, but really for us, you know, when Commodore Nation comes out, you know, you've got a lot of SEC fans are so different. They're going to travel. In this conference, they are what they are. And when you have a city like Nashville, everybody wants to come to this place. So, you know, LSU fans get a chance to come to Nashville once every 8 years. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they showed up and really tried to enjoy West End, you know, the Gulch and everything else that Nashville has to offer. That's just part of, you know, the allure of what Nashville is. So it doesn't affect us. We just play ball. Whoever shows up. Commodore Nation, keep coming.
Couple more questions.
You talked about playing with house money earlier. What did you mean by that exactly?
Just playing with house money. I mean, nobody expects you to win, so what you got to do is, man, go play aggressive. I thought offensively, when it was an aggressive game plan, I thought defensively, you know, like we worked and we just missed some things. So, you know, man, we brought more pressure than we probably normally would, and I think, you know, at times, you know, when it helped, at times, man, it didn't get us off the field because we didn't execute. And everything still comes back to execution. You know, man, football is still a game where, again, schematics are schematics. You still got to make it come alive. We got to be a little better. I think there were times where it looked really good, and times where, you know, hey, you know, we need some more work.
Locker room still pretty confident you can turn 0-3 around?
Absolutely. This group, I looked at this group in there, and this group, I told them, I said, hey, heads up, okay, now eyes on me, man, let's make sure, man, that we understand exactly where we've been, okay? We've been to a place that probably only 2 or 3 football teams in the country have been in the first 3 weeks of college football. Got a lot of football left to play. You know, you're talking about 9 games. 9 games. That's a lot of football for this group. And this group has shown that they can score points. We got to tighten some things up on special teams and defense. And let's get ready to make a run. So, Commodore Nation, let's get ready to make a run. Anchor down.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.